Welcome to the show. This is Let's Face the Facts, and I'm your host, David Almeida. I'm an actor in Orlando, Florida, and every week I sit down with an actor or artist friend. We watch an episode of the classic sitcom, The Facts of Life, and then I hit record, and then we synopsize, we analyze, we criticize, and other words that end with I's. This week, my guest is Matthew Arter. Matthew's back. Always fun when he's here. Matthew really needs no introduction. Matthew and I watched Season 4, Episode 17, called Best Sister, Part 1. This is Part 1 of 2, so you get Matthew this week and next week when we wrap this up for this very special 2-part Facts of Life episode. I think we're ready to jump on in, kids. Let's face the facts with Matthew Arter. Matthew, you are back.
Oh my God, David. David.
What?
For our listening audience that you think, oh, I want to move to Orlando. Fucking don't.
What?
There are enough people here. And second of all, like, you think, like, even in LA, like, on a Saturday, the traffic isn't as bad as it is as a Friday. No. It's just everywhere you go all the goddamn time.
Agreed.
It's just a goddamn... I live 12 miles from you.
Mm-hmm.
It took me 50 minutes to get here. Mm-hmm. And that's just unacceptable.
Yeah, I agree. They say they're going to finish fixing I-4.
Yeah.
At some point in the next 10 to 20 millennia.
Yeah.
And right now, it's just like, fucking finish this. Because the construction isn't helping.
No. It makes it worse. And now, even the locals don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
That's what's difficult, because it's like, the exit for Winter Park is like on the other side of downtown now. And you're like, oh... I thought I had 5 more miles to go, but I guess not.
Yeah, no, the exit's now 5 miles. You're getting off at Princeton and driving on a 5-mile-long exit to get to Lee Road, and you're like, what is happening? And then you don't take the Princeton exit, and you're on I-4, and you go, whoa. There went Lee Road.
Yeah. And what's your next exit? Oh, Daytona Beach. Oh, okay. This is good.
It's awful.
A nightmare.
Yeah.
And I know everybody says, it's like, oh, well, you should try Atlanta. I'm sure Atlanta's just as bad.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying we're worse. I'm just saying, don't move here.
Look, we're here, and it fucking sucks.
We're full.
Yeah, we're...
Florida's full.
Yes.
Agreed. Something else I discovered, David?
What did you discover, Matthew?
I discovered listening to podcasts at a different speed.
Oh, this is new to you?
Yes, it is.
What were you listening to?
I was listening to us, first of all.
At what speed?
At all of them. The half speed, we sound like we took a Valium before we start talking. And it's so funny to hear. Like, who is thinking, this is going too fast? I need to slow these motherfuckers down. Who's listening to podcasts at half speed?
Half speed. Yeah, I agree.
Maybe they're listening to a podcast about the Gilmore Girls or something, where they're all fast talkers. But
yeah. They're listening to a Rosalind Russell, Cary Grant fest or something.
But listening to us at a speed and a half, 1.5 speed.
1.5?
It's like we did an 8-ball before we started. It's like we can't shut up.
I need to do this.
Oh, it's funny.
And I imagine, because of the subject matter, it would be like, oh my God, you remember that TV show? It was that episode with that actor.
That's exactly what it is.
I'm sure the content supports the theory that we fucking are on cocaine.
Oh, it delights me. Because I only like to listen to the episodes I'm on. David rolls his eyes as he gets notes constantly. He knows when I'm listening because I'm constantly texting him notes.
Yeah, you do. You send, yeah.
You know what? I figured it out.
What?
And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, even though David has begged me to be on every episode, and I just can't.
Have I?
I have the text to prove it.
You Just let me create a fake phone number. I'll get those work done right away.
I will send you screen grabs of all of me going, I should be on every show.
Yes. And my favorite was the one when you texted me and said, you do know I talk along with the episodes when I listen to them. And I make them funnier.
Like I'm in here. I'm funnier. Make them funnier.
So I said, your podcast should be MST3King, like giving running commentary to my show.
Maybe that should be a Tutti Frutti thing.
Well, I'm glad to have you back.
Thank you.
We are...
After 20 minutes of bitching.
Well, that 20 minutes of bitching, no one will ever hear. This is the very beginning of the show.
Some Tutti Fruities might hear it.
Oh, that's true. That's what the extras are for. We have just watched Season 4, Episode 17, Best Sister, Part 1. Yes, this was a two-parter.
Or as I like to call it, a two-arter. Come on. Because my last name is Arter.
Oh.
And you get two of me.
Yeah, you do. We're going to get two
You are
Matthews.
welcome.
Yes, America. And my fives of listeners. This show was first broadcast on February 16th of 1983.
Yes, which becomes important in the second episode. I'm
Does
just going to lay that out there.
Oh, okay. It was directed by Mr. Kelada.
The wonderful.
As all episodes this season. And this was written by Linda Marsh and Margie Peters. We're talking the OG women who saved the show.
That surprises me a little bit. And that will come up later on.
Oh, that will come up later on. Good. We have... Listen to all the cliffhangers.
I know.
Enticers to make you keep listening.
Tickling the taint right now. Keeping you... Tickle my tits. Yeah,
oh, wow.
There's a lot to talk about with this episode.
There is.
In fact, I will even tell you ahead of time, here's a cliffhanger. I found a flub in the filming.
You found a flub in the filming.
A couple continuity errors, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we're going to get to this because I didn't see those.
Yeah.
So, Matthew, we're only doing part 1 first, and then we're going to do part 2 next week. So, can you please give me a Matthew Arter special, the incredible, concise 2-sentence format that should be followed and adhered to by all my future guests. Go!
David, I can name this episode in 1 sentence.
Matthew, name that episode.
Jan Brady's going to become a nun.
Yay! That's it. That's all there is. And I don't think we have anything else to say. That's the show. Good night, folks.
Very little B story on this one.
For a two-parter, no. And I mean, not that they did that. They still weren't really doing B stories at this point. And that this one is a two-parter. What are your thoughts on just the generality before we get into the micro specifics? The idea of it being a two-parter. I have thoughts, but I'm curious to know what you think.
I really think they could have gotten it done in 1 episode. I mean, here's the thing. Okay, like for us nowadays, and the way we're accustomed to very quick cuts and things like that.
Yeah.
It's not as difficult because I watch them right in a row. 1 and 2. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, we
But
watched
I
them
can imagine in 83 when you had to wait till next week to find out. You know what I mean? That, like that.
Yeah.
And then that was the second episode. You're like, really?
That's what I waited for?
I suppose at the age of 3, I might not have thought that when I originally watched it.
You were 3 in 1983?
No, I had not been born yet at all, as a matter of fact.
All right.
So.
I was going to say. But I thought about the same thing. I was like, did this need to be a two-parter? Could it have been on in 2? I think because they were asking Joe to make such a journey, and this wasn't as much character deepening development as much as it was, how the fuck do we get this character to do something so completely out of character for herself? I'm not sure if it was 1 episode. To me, it was just barely passable. That Joe, for spoiler alert, Joe thinks she might decide to become a nun through the course of this. But we have a long, long way to go before we get to that.
Yeah.
And so for me, Joe becoming a nun, that's a hard sell right there. That is far-flung, sprain your shoulder with reaching that far.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, that was already problematic for me. I think they, for the most part, did okay with it. And I don't know, with less time, it wouldn't have been really, come the fuck on, you know?
Well, I think what other character would it have made sense for it to be such a ridiculous thing for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the whole point was that it's going to be the character that no one would, that
you
they
least
can get
expect.
the most comedy out of her becoming a nun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess.
They can get the most comedy out of Joe becoming nun because just like the very first scene, Joe comes down in a skirt.
Yeah.
It's not funny when Natalie wears a skirt. It's not funny when Tootie wears a skirt.
You're right.
Certainly not funny when Mrs. Garrett wears a skirt. Oh, shit. But it is funny when they get 5 minutes out of Joe wearing a skirt.
True.
So they get another 40 minutes out of Joe becoming a nun.
Yeah. I would have, writers, Matthew and I will happily take a swipe at the script and see if we can make it condensed.
Punch it up.
Punch it, yeah.
We'll give it a once over.
Yeah, that's true. We'll take our Writers Guild cards in response.
I don't even have to tell the union, girl.
Yeah,
they had it to me under the table.
Scab. Betcha that's not the first time someone has
looked at me and said I had a scab.
Oh, so let's get right the fuck to it.
Let's do it.
It is the cafeteria. It is we can deduce through later events, it is Friday night. All the girls are in street clothes.
Yes.
And when they do a weekend show, it seems that when the school day is over
on Friday,
the girls change into street clothes. And then
wouldn't you
do dinner? Well, you got to wash the uniform anyway. Why wouldn't you just slop out the food and you know, why risk dirtying and having the food smell in your own clothes when you could do it? And does the school have laundry service? Do they launder their uniforms?
I don't know.
We know there is a laundry room off of the kitchen that we only went to, I think it was referred to once. But there's another question that's going to keep me up at night.
Yeah,
Fuck.
Don't worry about that one.
Yeah. By the way, when I take notes on my computer, it constantly corrects Tootie to Tootsie. And it's really annoying.
Yeah.
So Tootsie is working and clearing the tables. Mrs. Garrett is there. And Joe comes in a skirt. And you're right. We get 5 minutes of, you're wearing a skirt. Don't make a joke or I'm going to punch your fucking lights out, you piece of shit.
Can I just say, having listened to some of the episodes, your Mrs. Garrett is spot on. And you know how much joy it gives me. You know how much joy I love. But Mrs. Garrett and Joe are the only two people that you impersonate. And Joe is suddenly Bowser from Sha-Na-Na. Like, she never sounds like that. Quite. You know what I mean? Like, but your Mrs. Garrett's spot on.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we might want to take another look at once over at Joe.
Okay. But you're right that I don't really have a Blair, a Natalie. And again, it's when it falls into stereotypes. It's when Natalie starts doing the Jewish humor that is not Jewish humor that they always give her.
So she brings up Yale and Jason.
Apparently she's been dating this boy, Jason, who goes to Yale.
And interested in Yale.
And now going to college there. Joe is a senior. This is appropriate. That she is preparing for her first college weekend. And all they keep talking about is it's her first college weekend, blah, blah, blah. Mrs. Garrett wants to have a talk with her. And then Tootie shows up and she's like, talk later. Blair shows up. What is different about Blair this episode, Matthew?
Her roots are done.
Blonder. Yeah, we're talking Mary Martin Canary Yellow blonde.
Yeah.
Not that dishwater that we tried starting at episode 3 or whatever.
And she looks gorgeous.
She goddamn does. Jeez. So you wondered if there was a sense of, Eve Plumb is going to be playing my sister. What shade is her hair right now? I need to look a little blonder than she. I'm just saying, because she is.
Yeah.
And, anywho. So, yeah. So the big question is, Joe is acting like this is a visit to see this boy with also some academic intentions secondary.
Right.
And it's like, how do you know this boy? How did you meet? How in the fuck would a college student from Yale, which is in New Haven, Connecticut, and a high school student in Peekskill, New York, what the shit?
And also, really, Mrs. Garrett, you're going to let this high school girl go for a weekend?
Well,
on her own?
She tries to have the talk.
Yeah, but that would not, the talk, we wouldn't get to the talk.
Yeah.
My mom would not have let me go for a weekend to a college.
Agreed.
It just wouldn't have happened. We would have never gotten to the talk.
Yeah.
It would have been like, no, you're not going there for a weekend.
Yeah. I went for an orientation weekend.
By yourself?
Yeah.
In high school?
When I had already been accepted to my school. So the orientation weekend was pack up your sleeping bag and it was 2 nights. I think it was a weekend. And it was just, okay. And then you ended up in a dorm room with a stranger. And you had...
Go on.
and then they, had like classes and seminars that you could pick and choose to attend based upon your interest.
Who was your roommate?
A dorky kid named... Was he also a David? His name might have also been David.
Go on.
No, that's it.
What did you wear to bed? What did you wear in your sleeping bag?
I wore pajamas.
Ah, nerd!
Like Joe did.
Nerd.
I don't know what I wore, but remember, I wasn't gay then. I wasn't thinking in those terms.
Very straight.
I was
looking for the college pussy.
I was a breeding bastion of masculinity when I was 18 years old.
Where's the theater?
The chorus. Yeah, so this whole premise of this weekend is questionable at best.
Yeah. And it becomes more questionable more we find out, anyway. I have serious issues with that whole B story.
Yeah, and then the thing is, at one point somebody says, I'm so glad you didn't tell Jason to take this weekend and blow it out his crankcase. Mm-hmm. And you're like, but, huh?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then they allude to the fact that there were other boys. There was this... that's what it is. And with that being an allusion to... Well, because she apparently told boys named Michael and Stuart and Chucky to go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
Like, this was of the boys that she had at her disposal. Mm-hmm. This was the one she picked. Stuart. Yep. And... Mrs. Garrett tries again to have the talk, and Judy butts in again and just says, "Are you trying to talk about sex?"
Is that, and that was when my ears perked up, as they generally do when someone mentions sex.
Okay.
Is that the first time that word has been uttered on this show?
No, because we had the sex education in episode 1.
Did they actually say the word sex?
Yes.
Because, and it's funny that this comes up, the word sex was mentioned one time on the Brady Bunch.
Was it?
The word sex was said during a Brady Bunch episode. Funny that Jan Brady is on this episode.
Oh.
Do you know who said it?
No.
Oliver. Cousin Oliver said it.
Was it like, look at that sex symbol kind of a thing?
No, it was, your parents have a real hard time talking about sex.
Oh, wow.
To Bobby.
It's like, it's 1974. It's modern times.
Because there's some actual language on this show.
Yeah.
And I wanted to look up the FCC list of what words you could and couldn't say on primetime at the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the George Carlin list.
Is it?
It's shit,
still?
piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits.
Wow.
It's 7. That's this. You never heard this George Carlin routine?
Yes, but I was in 1969. This is 1983.
No, this was in the 70s.
Okay.
This was in the 70s. Right. And then he did later add fart, turd, and twat. And the funny thing is that tits and fart have become okay. You can say those.
Shit has become okay.
At after 10 p.m. on basic cable.
All right.
Yeah, no, there are still rules around shit. I love Archer because they can't say fuck at all. So they just use shit because they can. So it's like, what the shit are you talking about? That's why I say, what the shit?
Oh, that's why. So Judy says, you talking about sex?
Right? Is that your Tootie impression?
No.
But the thing is, this is slipping back into, they're clearly avoiding it because of Tootie. We're back into that treating Tootie like a baby thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, did we not learn from the last time when she went and got drunk, or when she was gonna go on that hike with the boy?
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, this is kind of a older relationship that I thought had grown out of, treating Tootie like a child.
I mean, you've seen the size of her tits. She's not a child anymore. Am I allowed to say tits?
You can say tits.
Okay.
You can say anything here.
Okay, you've seen the size of her. I mean, she's not a kid.
Yeah, no, it's like if someone hasn't had the talk with her, and her fun pillows or whatever those are called. What do they call them in Carrie?
Fun bags?
Fun bags?
Milk bags.
What like, isn't there a pillows term that the mother uses in Carrie? Dirty pillows. Dirty pillows. That's what it is.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to point at you and shout
Thank you.
But anyhow, so this is where we get a little bit of Jewish Natalie, where we have the sort of setup right before, you have to do that setup of like, everything is terrific. And then the thing is introduced that's going to fuck it all up.
Sure.
Joe is literally saying, everything is great. I've got good grades. I'm considering Yale. I'm dating a terrific guy. Life couldn't be much better. And Natalie jumps in with, well, no, you don't say that. You're tempting the fates. This is why I didn't get Nellie Forbush. You don't tempt the fates. Mm-hmm. It's the evil eye. What's the Jewish term? Kinahora? Is that it?
Kinahora do what?
Kinahora
do this. Kinahora do that. Kinahora pull this at the little head. Also, in that when Blair's talking about Joe, she makes a reference to 2 years ago she was wearing flared jeans, and that's a reference to Joe's first ever appearance.
Oh, true,
Blair
she was.
refers to her flared jeans. She still wears flared jeans.
But it's the evil eye. The evil eye is a very well-known thing in Jewish culture. That's literally you don't praise your children. You don't acknowledge when things are going well.
Yeah. Because
that is when fate will turn on you and fuck it all up.
Yep.
And Charlotte Rae herself talks about it a lot in her autobiography because literally her mother never, ever said, good job, never said, congratulations, you're a fucking Broadway actress. Her mother never, ever showed her approval. She only later found out through a sister that the mother said, oh, I saw a performance and Charlotte was really good in it. Like, she had to find out about it third hand through a sibling because the mother could never, due to that cultural thing of don't praise your child. God forbid.
Yeah, my mother's like that.
Oh, is she?
Another piece of the puzzle.
Oh.
I mean, it's always like, I called her and said I got a new contract, and she goes, well, of course you did. Why aren't you running the place? So it's never quite, it's never quite good enough.
Oh, bless.
Oh, you won the state championship in piano playing in 5th grade. Well, see how you do at nationals. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow. That does explain some things.
And that's why I'm funny today.
So the Joe is... So Natalie is like, shut up, don't say that too loud.
Yeah.
And Joe is like, oh, come on, that's crazy. And she stopped short of saying, what could possibly walk through that door and fuck with this perfect path upon which I am embarking? Jan Brady.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Eve Plumb.
Dun, 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 dun.
What if there has ever been a perfect time, and plenty of time for it, is when a guest star of that caliber at that time walks on. Were you not expecting applause?
No.
I was expecting applause.
Really? Did they applaud
Zsa?
Zsa?
Yes.
Oh, I guess because it was that role had such pageantry about it. I would have not liked it if there was applause for her, because it's like
it was clearly written as an entrance for fucking Eve Plumb.
Yeah, it was her. She walks in and said, what does she say? She says something like,
"Who wants to run away from home?"
Yeah.
Okay, that was how Rip Taylor said it, but he didn't get the part. He didn't get the part of Blair's sister.
Yeah. Well, he did read for it.
He did read for it, yes.
Yeah.
Agent put him right up for it.
The producers didn't like
I didn't
confetti.
think that would go. But I was hoping for some old sitcom-y applause for the guest star.
Yeah, Fonzie gets applause, and it's his
a
fucking
regular.
show.
Right.
He walks on stage and people applaud. It's like, did you not think he was going to be there?
Right.
Really? But no, I'm so on your side.
And there was plenty of time, because she walked in and it was like, "Hey, everybody. Eve Plumb. Who wants to run away from home?" It was a very long shot of her entering, I thought.
Yeah, I guess so. I didn't think of that, and personally, I'm glad, because it's like, no, this is just Blair's sister.
Which we find out is not.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth with Blair saying, "This is my sister," and they're like, you don't have a sister? But it's clearly a stepsister, one of Blair's mother's many ex-husbands, 3.
Is that what you would call her, your stepsister?
I think so, because even if the parents split up...
But, like, she is not related to her dad at all, and she's not related to her mother.
But when...
Her dad was her mother's 4th wife, or 3rd wife, so... I wrote down, are these two actually at all related?
Not by blood, no.
Not at all, but not, like, technically at all.
No,
like,
but legally...
They could date.
I mean, yeah, they could. But yeah, when two people with children marry, their kids automatically become step-siblings. The partner's children become your stepchildren. So on the Brady Bunch, the girls and the boys were step-siblings.
Right, but... her stepsons still had their dad.
Yeah.
But, like, Blair's mother had no connection to her or her dad. You know what I mean? Like, so, I don't know.
Well, the fact that the parents are not married anymore may throw a wrench in that. I don't know. But it could be one of those, like, well, this is my daughter-in-law, even though she divorced my son because my son's an asshole.
Okay.
I still love her, and I still call her my daughter-in-law, kind of a thing.
All right.
I think technically we can write our own rules there. So basically, they try to get a lot of mileage out of this whole, the way their relationship is. Well, my father was married to her mother, and then, we gave birth to some guinea pigs and ate them, and I don't know. Ridiculous. But it ends up with Blair and Meg. Meg is the name of the sister, and... I'm assuming I don't need to go into the career of Eve Plumb. People know who she is.
No, but since you're so fond of it, she is 25 years old in this episode.
I looked that up too.
She's 25.
Yes. And looks really good.
Well, she
got,
still looks 40 because it's 1983.
Oh, I mean that, yeah. But I mean, as far as next to Blair, and it is not Jan Brady being the redheaded stepchild, the middle girl, the one with the issues and all that stuff, and thinking she's not pretty. She really, I mean, standing next to Lisa Whelchel, it's like, bitch is holding her own. The feathering of her hair is absolutely unsupportable. But other than that, I think she looks really, really good.
All right.
Whether or not you agree with
No, I'm not saying I agree. No, I'm just saying you have a valid opinion, David.
Do I?
Well,
yeah. So in the kitchen, there's a talk that she's kind of dropped off the face of the earth. And Blair's like, we haven't been in touch in over a year. What the fuck? And she said, you didn't even contact me for my birthday. And she says, well, it's a little bit late. And she hands her a bank book and the keys to her car, which is an MG.
Yes.
What is an MG?
I have no idea.
I heard Elaine Stritch talk about it. And I'm like, that was in 1952.
Yeah.
I didn't know MG still existed.
Yeah. I will say, while you're looking that up, while they're in the kitchen doing all of this, They are literally just moving plates from one table to the next. And that is where a couple continuity errors show up. Because, like, you'll see in one shot, Natalie will pick up a napkin dispenser, and in the very next shot, she's picking it up again.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I didn't see that.
Like, they didn't really... And Tootie is the worst at it.
Oh.
Like, I watched this episode several times. Because I have... no friends. So, and I watched it, and like Tootie literally just like puts a plate in the thing and then just stands there and watches the acting. Yeah. I have a comment for Tootie, a note for Tootie later that I will get to.
Okay.
Anyway, that's where you can see a couple of the continuity errors back there. Because they're just literally picking up plates and moving. And there is food on a plate, a half-eaten sandwich on the plate. In there.
And that's odd. Yeah, usually they just have napkins. Yeah.
And they just pick them up and move them to another table. The direction was busy work.
Yeah, we've had so many talks about the busy work that's not work and the lack of food. And yeah. Mm-hmm. So Eve Plumb, Meg says, well, you know how I bounced from one thing to the other. And so Blair says, oh, so what? You're going to get a new car? You're going to change your major at college? And she's like, well, actually, for the past year, I've been involved in something that really feels right for me. And Blair says, well, good, then you should go for it. And she says, but it requires that I relinquish my worldly possessions. And Blair says, sounds like you've joined a convent. Bum. That could have been the end of the episode. But
they might as well have put a boing in there or something.
Yeah.
Like, it was just...
Blair's response, and it progressively gets worse. Like, she gets more worked up as the episode progresses, but it's one of those. Blair's like, what the fucking fuck?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I finally found something that makes me feel complete. And she's like, Blair just lays into her. You must be out of your mind. This must be killing your parents. This is not exactly their American dream for you.
I loved the I don't know if it's coming up or if they already did it, but when she's going to become a nun, the joke of Natalie, Tootie, and Blair. Wow, where? Why?
Oh.
Like, that was funny to me.
Yeah.
And three comedies in threes. And also, she's making her a peanut butter and banana sandwich. Did you notice that?
I know that she was supposed to be doing that. Did she actually do that?
I don't know if you noticed, but she keeps her bread in the refrigerator. Who does that? Weirdo.
Go right now into my
Weirdo.
Bagels and loaf bread.
Loaf bread.
Hello? What? A loaf of bread? What's the matter?
Yeah, a loaf of bread, but I don't call it a loaf bread. That's just gross.
Loaf style.
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong?
Who wants cold bread?
I never eat it plain. I always toast it.
You never eat room temperature bread?
No. Ew. Right. What's wrong with you?
Gross. I'm going to put a pin in that for when the microphones are off.
But like, if you have a peanut butter, you would put a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on just plain old bread?
Sure.
See, I like
Look at the size of me, though. Like, I got to get that food in me. I'm wasting away over here. She opens her refrigerator to get said bread, like a weirdo, okay. Like a fucking freak.
I'm feeling attacked, but continue.
I would be happy to know how. I would like to bet Michael B, our Tutti Frutti, Michael B. I bet he keeps his bread outside of the refrigerator because he's not a weirdo.
Okay, Michael B. Please weigh in. Please comment somewhere on this and tell me. Back me up, bro.
Both
I need
the
you.
B's, Michael B. and Michelle B.
Michelle
I'd like
B.
to know.
The wonderful.
Now, my question is, when she opened it to get the bread out, like a weirdo, Bisquick is in there. So she keeps her... Now, let me tell you. Okay. Do you keep your... And Nestle Quik, the powder of Nestle Quik was in the refrigerator either.
The fuck is that?
Well, okay. At least we agree on that weirdness.
What's wrong with them?
But my favorite thing ever in sitcoms happens. She gets out the peanut butter, and it's clearly Skippy peanut butter.
Oh.
But there's a piece of white tape over the IPPY. So it's just and clearly taped over. Like, we couldn't get a different label or something that just said peanut butter. Yeah. We had to be, oh, Christ, we couldn't get the clearance. And did we get the clearance from Quik and Bisquick? To use theirs, because their label is clearly shown. Wow. Or does it matter how long it's on screen? I don't know. These are the things that I noticed.
I'm surprised I didn't. See, this is why when I'm taking my copious notes for the show.
Yeah, you should press pause.
I should press pause and actually watch the show instead of basically transcribing the fucking dialogue.
Yeah, I have to watch it 3 different times.
But yeah, no, powdery things, to me, bread keeps longer in the fridge, too. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Even if it's stale, when you toast it, you can't tell.
Oh, my God.
Blair, in turning on her, says, you always were stubborn and rebellious, and you are just being a little brat.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah. Such harsh words.
Yeah, and Meg comes back with, you are not saying anything I haven't already heard, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents yelled and threatened. They called me everything from a liar to a lesbian.
Lesbian.
Yes, Blanche, lesbian.
Oh, isn't Danny Thomas one?
Not Lebanese, Blanche, lesbian. I can't get my voice 2 octaves lower.
Not Lebanese, Blanche.
Yeah, see, you've got it. You're
And I love how she says that and the look on Natalie's face in the background like, oh,
she
you should have said that to Blair, who's been eating Joe's pussy. So, this is going to get ugly.
But this doesn't make sense. You're stupid and selfish. Your parents want grandchildren. And it's just like, good Lord. I'm not saying, we didn't have that happen in my family. I'm not saying eyebrows would not have been raised. But at the same time, there is a point where it's just like, well, you gotta go fucking do whatever you want to do, because guess what? Not my goddamn business.
Yeah. And it's not like she's saying, I'm going to become a drug cartel.
Yeah.
Like, it's like she's going to become a nun. You can quit.
I'm gonna do scientific chemical experiments on embryos.
I'm moving to Mars, kids.
Exactly.
It's a whole overreaction.
I'm getting a lower back tattoo. Yeah.
I was 12.
Hey, it's okay, and it's down below the waistline of your underwear. No one really sees it now.
No one's ever going to see it.
Yeah. So,
and you can't read it, for one thing. It's a different size than it was. But your vaudevillian writers are at it again during that scene.
Oh, do me.
What kind of nun are you going to be? Singing? Flying?
But,
The singing nun came out in 1966. The flying nun came out in 1967. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of teenagers were talking about that shit in 1983.
No. Agreed. Absolutely. Was there a thing called the singing nun, or are you talking the Sound of Music?
Nope, the singing nun.
It was actually called the singing nun. Mm-hmm. I wasn't aware of that.
Wow.
So anyhow, the final thing is, I'm not going to stand by and let you throw your life away. I'm going to turn around and walk up the fucking stairs. Mm-hmm. Eat my dust.
But not before the nun-to-be says, take the damn checkbook.
Yes.
Take the damn checkbook.
Damn. Well, she didn't say goddamn.
But
she said damn.
I mean, but how many times were expletives like that used in this show?
I'm Mrs. Garrett.
What did she say?
Remember,
fuck!
When Tootie and Natalie bought the bongs in the dope episode. Remember?
No.
It's like, Mrs. Garrett, are you upset, whatever? And she's like, no, I'm mad. I'm damn mad that they'd sell this to children.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Garrett has said, damn.
Yeah.
And remember just the other week, she was, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Shoot.
Sorry, shoot is shit with 2 O's.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't think it's certainly not something it wasn't like, the Eunice Ed and Mama sketches on Carol Burnett where they would say hell and damn and scandalize the audience.
But she's going to become a nun.
Yeah.
And they gave her
the damn line.
Just take the bank book and the car and the keys, I feel like I get it. Like she's frustrated. I don't know. It just seemed like weird that they would throw a damn in there for a lady becoming a nun who's trying to give away her checkbook and her car.
I guess.
I don't know.
But she also, we do get the sense that this is, Meg is still on a journey. It's not like she is not there. She is clearly not there.
Yeah.
But she talks about, she does get frustrated at some point later too, and has to sort of regroup.
Yeah.
And I think it's in the second half of the episode where she says, well, this is a more common reaction than I realized. So clearly I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
Or so possibly she's having to step away, take stock, and say, am I presenting this in such a way that it's putting people on the defensive? So I just got the sense that she's still finding her way with it. So the damn didn't really bother me.
All right.
And that's a testament to the wonderful performance of the wonderful Eve Plumb.
Go with that. And then a very long shot before we go to commercial.
And that is the commercial, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That is the commercial. So we come back.
Yeah,
we're in the cafeteria. Natalie and Tootie, Meg is there. Blair won't come down. Oh, she just needs time. And Mrs. Garrett and Joe, who had run off in the first scene for Mrs. Garrett to drive Joe to New Haven to her college weekend, come back. The car's broken down. And smartly, they did have Joe say, I could have fucking fixed it. I fix cars.
She took her to the train station. She was driving her to the train station.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, because she goes, I need to look at what time the next train is leaving.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You'll take a later train. So how big is peak skill
that
they had to turn around after they fixed the car? They couldn't.
I agree. I'm the same way. But yeah, so you're right. I misinterpreted that. You're right. They did say train station. So the thing is that Mrs. Garrett said, I'm not going to let you get under the car in that outfit. You're dressed nicely. You're wearing a skirt. No. And this is the point when Meg is like, well, I'm actually going there. I'm not far from where Yale is. So I could drive Joe down and I could even bring her back. And it's like, well, fucking A, do it.
And Joe thinks, bow, chicka, bow, wow.
No. So when Joe does come in, she does start to tell a dirty joke, and they quickly have to stop her.
Dirty joke.
When does Joe ever tell it?
But it's like the first line is, this guy's seeing a sex therapist, and she's already laughing. A joke like that wouldn't really be funny to you, would it? If you haven't had sex?
Yeah.
It's like telling me a joke about women. I don't get it. Why is that funny? I don't understand.
Yeah, it was very weird.
Nobody in that room has had sex, is my point.
Correct.
So how are we all going to find this hilarious that this guy...
Yeah, a sex therapist.
Because the line is, all she gets through is, this guy's seen a sex therapist. He says, it's been 3 weeks since I...
Joe? Oh. Yeah. It's been 3 weeks since I...
Yeah.
was able to stimulate my wife to orgasm using my fingers, and yet it seems that penis and vagina penetration never is actually able to bring her to... No, this isn't a funny joke.
Oh, my.
Read the room. Read the room. Yeah. Mrs.
This is
Garrett.
when Joe finds out that that Meg's going to become a sister. Because they've moved into the kitchen now. The next scene is they moved into the kitchen.
Yes. And in the course of that, Joe does say, well, when she was a kid at school, she remembers one of the nuns, Sister Frances Imelda. And she says, Imelda was never engaged. Of course, she looked like Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah.
Oh, vaudevillian writers. Really? But did I skip ahead of you or am I behind you?
I think you're a little bit ahead of me because I have Mrs. Garrett coming in and she tells her the dirty joke and then they find out Meg's going to become a sister. And I know that's the term for a nun. Yeah. But I feel like if I were in a conversation with somebody and be like, I'm going to become a nun, I wouldn't say I'm going to become a sister.
Yeah.
I think they keep using that term when nun is already inherently funnier.
Yeah. I think so.
I just feel like a nun is a funnier word than sister.
I would agree. That's why the musical's not called Sister Sense. But I agree.
Then why isn't it called Nun Act?
Bam.
This is when Mrs. Garrett, to show her support, this show is for and written by a woman.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Garrett actually has the line, I think it's wonderful. Nowadays, women want to become doctors, rolls her eyes. Lawyers, rolls her eyes, or throws both hands up and goes, or astronauts!
Yeah.
Like, it's just ridiculous. And I'm like, for a second, I was like, fuck you, Edna Garrett.
I didn't get that read. My take on that was, it wasn't, isn't that ridiculous? It was isn't it amazing how far we've come?
I didn't get that at all.
And that most, that women nowadays are aspiring to these big and amazing things. It's nice that this is still an option available to us. I didn't get I wasn't mad at it. And I didn't get that.
I would like
vibe.
Jennifer B and Jennifer C. I would like their opinions.
All right,
As
Jennifer's.
Women, as women. The lady, Tutti Fruities, need to all weigh in and tell me if I'm being too sensitive or if David is just an idiot.
Oh.
Wow. Because, like, Andrea L., I'm looking at you. You need to weigh in on this.
Yeah, Jamie E., I expect your support here.
It got fully, like, I was like, ugh. Anyway.
Moving on.
Go ahead.
The offer to transport Jo and then bring her back is partially driven by the fact that Meg says, I have unfinished business here with Blair, so I do need to come back here before I go into, what is it called? When she goes to the place, the nun training?
The nunnery.
The nunnery.
The convent.
The convent, I guess. But,
No, there's another name for it. Not the rectum, the rectory.
I thought the rectory was a part, like a physical
of your body.
Church of the physical structure. I thought the rectory was like the pulpit.
Back door.
No.
Yep. But yeah,
Let's move on, shall we?
An Ernest Borgnine reference.
Yeah, really? In 1983.
Because all the ladies were talking about Ernie Borgnine.
Borgnine, yeah. And he wasn't wacky, elderly Ernest Borgnine.
No,
like
but admitted to masturbating on TV, live TV.
God.
You know why I've stayed young so long? I masturbate. What?
Yeah. You know when you're on microphone and you whisper, you can be heard.
Bless
I know you're in your early 100s now.
Yeah.
But that's still that didn't
talking
change.
To a 22-year-old woman on Fox News.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Very upsetting. So then we go to the bedroom. And I'm sorry, this has one of those revelation moments where I'm like, what the shit?
Yeah.
So Blair is reading. And
What's she reading, David?
oh fuck, what is she reading?
The Exorcist.
Oh, that's right.
I wonder if she got to the part where she masturbates with a crucifix yet. For Christ's sake.
But that's right.
Why didn't you just start her reading Rosemary's Baby?
But the reason why, it was a setup to a joke where Blair says, I'm doing a little bit of research. And when Meg comes back,
How to get Joe off with, with the crucifix.
No. I'm trying to figure out a way for Meg to get her head screwed on straight. That's a joke about the rotating
I get it.
head thing. That's what they were going for. But you're right. It was like, clearly you didn't really read The Exorcist.
That's severe.
There's some shit going on. So Mrs. Garrett is sort of in that, so Blair, what is going on? And Blair is kind of like, someone just needs to take her to a country club. That's it. I'm going to take her to my country club, and all she needs is a good date. All that her dad worked for is worthless. Blair's on this high horse of, by Meg becoming a nun, she is shitting on her father's wealth and achievement, which supposedly he did for her.
Which she is.
Which she is, yeah. But attaching value to that. And again, Blair, not your pony, not your monkey, not your circus, not your show. What the fuck?
She does seem very invested in someone that none of her best friends knew existed.
Yeah.
So.
True. Very true.
During this scene, Edna stands up to Blair. They're face to face. And I realize, we always think of Charlotte Rae as a little person.
Yeah, she's
kinda.
tiny.
She's 5 foot tall. I looked it up.
Did you?
Charlotte Rae was 5 feet tall.
So an inch taller than Judy Garland. Yeah.
Blair, want to guess how tall Blair is?
5'4"?
5'3".
Okay.
That blows me away.
But Lisa Whelchell's only 5'3".
Lisa Whelchell's 5'3". I can't imagine if I met Lisa Whelchell that she would only come up to my tit. Like, that's...
You mean when you see her...
When I see my dear friend, yeah.
Your close personal friend, yeah.
I've never thought about it that way. But
she's only 5'3". Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
And they're both clearly in heels. And because I realized they were almost nose to nose. And I was like, what? How tall are they? So I looked it up. Lisa Whelchell's 5'3". That messes with my head. Joe is 5'4".
Okay.
And Tootie is 5'2".
Yeah.
I didn't get to Natalie. But
they're all around the same height. Like they're all, none of them towers over. When Joe comes in, Joe was wearing flats when she was in the skirt, but there was an episode recently where Joe came in heels. Mm-hmm. And they were like probably 3-inch heels. And it was so odd to see her towering over the others. So, yeah, my spin is that they're all kind of the same-ish height.
And then there's no hairspray in that hair, like in that clip that I sent you where she gets proposed to and her hair is like mohawked and oh my God, I can't wait.
Oh my God, yes, later seasons.
So,
mullet. Yeah. So Mrs. Garrett does throw in some Mrs. Garrettisms. Mm-hmm. This is a different way of life. It's not condemning her dad or anybody. It's just a different thing. Mm-hmm. And devoting your life to God is not deviant behavior. No. She's not running away from her life, as you're saying. She's running towards something. Mm-hmm. And Blair is like, well, I need to get her parents here, and they're going to talk her out of it. And Mrs. Garrett says, nobody could ever talk me out of my faith. It's not something I was ever reasoned into. That's why they call it faith. My hand is over my head, ladies and gentlemen.
And Matthew is very happy. Damon did a very good job.
So it's good that we're having this talk and that Mrs. Garrett is doing what she does best and saying, okay, you're going through some shit and I got to help you work through it as your elder, as your guardian. Mm-hmm. And then Tootie comes running in. They're here. I want to take a picture. I'm going to get my camera. Remember, I used a camera a few episodes ago. Apparently that's my thing. Where's my camera? They're here. And I'm like, what? They're here. So it's Sunday. Mm-hmm. We just watched Blair have her shit fit on Friday night.
Yeah.
And now Mrs. Garrett is coming in on Sunday night saying, Blair, what's wrong? It's like, no, you should have been up there that same fucking night, bitch. What is happening? So what, has Blair just been stewing in this all weekend? Has Blair not moved from reading that book?
Joe wasn't there, so...
Man.
Yeah, I get it. A little bit of a continuity error.
That's a timeline issue.
Yeah,
I have problems, clearly. Mm-hmm. So when they come in, Natalie is like, tell me everything. Tell me everything. Yeah. Natalie wants to hear about the fucking.
She's going to write it down in my diary so I know what it's like.
Yeah, exactly.
Natalie's going to get like some penthouse letters or something out of this.
So turns out she didn't stay very long.
And why?
As soon as she introduced Meg to Jason, his neck suddenly swelled up. Is that what it is?
He had the mumps.
Yeah.
The mumps.
That still can happen, can it?
The mumps.
Yeah, there was a vaccine for that in the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible because it's like 1982 and everything.
But that's really very... Yeah.
Why couldn't it have been the flu?
Yeah.
Because later on in the next week, we're going to find out.
It wasn't the mumps.
It wasn't the mumps.
Yeah.
But
it's like... It turns out he had polio.
Right? Why not just say polio?
How old is he?
For Christ's sake, you 80-year-old writers.
Exactly.
What's a terrible thing to have? The mumps! Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Get out. You're not a writer anymore. She says she's had the mumps, but so instead she spent the weekend with
Meg.
No. Retreating with Meg.
She did go to the retreat. And now suddenly Joe, who has never, ever presented herself as anything but a city girl.
And a lesbian.
City girl.
They retreated at Lake Licolatopus. I think it was up at camp. Come on, I want to lay ya. It might have been camp. Oh, how I'd like to poke ya.
You are 12.
Come on, I want to do ya.
Okay. And Joe is suddenly like, it was so nice to have things slowed down. This is my Bowser. Fuck you. It's my Joe.
It's your Joe.
I am as God made me, Matthew.
I know.
She's like, it was so nice to have things slowed down a little, you know? Mm-hmm. Mrs. Garrett, gotta give her a joke. I love retreats. You just can sit and listen to your Rice Krispies.
Stop.
It did get a laugh, but really?
Was that like the ad campaign of Rice Krispies at the time? Was like
Snap, crackle, pop. Yeah, the idea is that you hear them.
Yeah.
Because they're a grain product we've puffed with air, so when you pour liquid on them, they make noise. It's absolutely by design. But anyway, so then Meg leaves. She does say she's staying in town overnight, and she says, Blair, can we talk tomorrow? And Blair's like, well, the funny thing is, Blair is sitting in the back, and they don't really talk. Like, there's no acknowledgement, no hi. No, we just had a big-ass blowout last time, but not even an acknowledgement when the intent was, we do need to revisit this. So that was just weird. And then finally she's like, I'm staying in town overnight, so clearly she has a hotel room. She's not staying in the imaginary guest room that may or may not exist over here.
Correct.
In Eastland.
I noticed that,
Yeah, where Cousin Jerry stays. But so she leaves. And then Joe was left behind. It was a good rest. We're glad you got a good rest this weekend. And Joe was like, but it was more than that. You know, walks in the woods and trees and little furry things.
I'm singing the Sharks of the Jets theme song because that's what it sounds like it's about to happen.
What?
with your Brooklyn accent.
Oh, okay.
Seems like we're gonna break into West Side Story.
Them sharks is on our turf. They say guns, we say guns. They say knives, we say knives. Okay, I get it now.
So yeah, she's had a wonderful weekend. Joe did.
Joe. And you know what? The way I said, I don't know if she said that line. So it was a good rest, but it was more than that. You know, things have been going well. I've been really happy, even with the good stuff. It's like something's been bugging me, like I forgot something. And this weekend, I remembered what I forgot.
What?
God.
Oh, God. Literally came out of my mouth when she said it.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh Jesus Christ. But we saw it coming. I mean, knew it was coming.
Yeah. But it's like,
it's about time that Joe says, I've been thanking everybody but God, and it's about time that I did. So
Mrs. Garrett could not agree more. Of course you couldn't. You perfect.
Yeah. We had that. It would have been so great, that episode, the September song, the one with the old boyfriend where she was considering getting married. Like I mentioned you by name. I said this would have been a great time for her to say, I got carried away with the idea of a man.
Of course not.
Yeah.
She's perfect in every way. Mrs. Garrett never makes a mistake, never does anything wrong.
She's practically perfect in every way. So, Joe, what are you trying to say? I want to make it my life, my whole life. I want to be like Meg. I want to be a nun. Dum, dum, dum.
Freeze frame on Tootie, who in her head said,
my
look surprised.
Tootie
because
is...
she's just terrible.
Oh, she is bad. That is a bad... Mrs. Garrett, Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Look, it is so broad beyond anything. And on that cliffhanger is where...
to be continued.
Yeah. And it was it was never an hour episode. It wasn't a special tonight on a special 1 hour Facts of Life.
No.
This, in its initial run, was run in 2 weeks.
Did yours have... Okay, go ahead.
No, mine had that, and then it had the little synopsis at the beginning of the next one. Is that what you were asking?
Last time on Facts of Life.
Yeah.
A male's voice that we don't know.
Yeah, which they did before on the thing. And now, the conclusion. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were going to go back and watch the first part again. Really? Jesus, fuck. Oh, you think it's a bunch of girls watching? You have to mansplain the show to me? Is that what you're doing?
Well, because too many women are becoming doctors and lawyers and astronauts. Which is a topical reference because it was during this time period that Sally Ride was becoming the first female astronaut.
I remember that.
Who refused to go on Johnny Carson's show because he made the joke that the technology wasn't ready yet, so they delayed the flight that she was going to be on. And Johnny Carson made the joke that they're delaying the flight so Sally Ride can find a purse that matches her moon boots or something like that. And she's like, suck it, Carson!
Yeah.
So
good for her.
Yeah.
Good for
But
her.
it was 83 that flight went up.
So on this deep, dark cliffhanger...
Yeah, I got to go.
You gotta go, and then next week you're gonna come
stop on over.
So we're gonna stop recording.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave everybody
and tinkle.
We'll have a tinkle. Okay.
Yep.
And maybe I might pull out a little bit of a nosh for us to share.
Is that your little nickname for your ding dong? You gonna pull out your little nosh?
Let me just
stay tuned,
audience. Where Matthew's going to the bathroom. Thank you for this week, and I look forward to completing this next week.
Mm-hmm.
Little nosh. And there you have it. That was Matthew Arter. One thing I wanted to clarify, we touched upon the superstition of Kinahora in Jewish culture, the evil eye. I did a little research, and basically Kinahora is the Yiddish term for without the evil eye. And I said it was not praising your child. It's actually broader in scope than that. It's the idea that if you praise a child, or if you act boastful, or in any way highlight something positive that is going on, there are spirits who are basically going to screw it up for you. So you don't verbalize or express such things out of safety and out of a desire to preserve what you have that is positive. I found some interesting YouTube videos about it. I will post them so you can edumacate yourselves as well if you are interested. But it's just something I wanted to be sure that I clarified and expanded on, because my description of it in the show was a little narrow. And once again, it is interesting to note that the concept, while not specifically called Kinahora, is presented by Natalie. This is the second time now, and Natalie is the not expressly Jewish character. So next week, Matthew and I are going to be watching the exciting conclusion, Season 4, Episode 18, Best Sister Part 2. So that's all for this week. Thank you for listening to the show, as always. And remember, the facts of life are all about you. Let's Face the Facts was produced, written, hosted, and edited by me, David Almeida. My theme song was beautifully arranged and recorded by Ned Wilkinson. Our website is facethefactspod.com. You have to drop the let's. And that's where you can find extra pictures, video, and audio extras from the digital cutting room floor. Follow the show on social media. We're everywhere under the handle Face the Facts Pod. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/FaceTheFactsPod. And don't forget, go to your favorite podcatchers and subscribe, rate, and review. Tune in again next week for another thrilling episode of Let's Face the Facts.